All right, gang sexy. All right, we are 3 turns into Across the Narva. Okay, notes right off the bat. Yeah, hard to explain that, and I'll talk about that here in just a second because it's quite possibly I'm doing this wrong. So you, it's chit draw in accordance with the turn track. How many activations uh, you'll get per side. The Soviets, obviously, they're on the offensive. They're getting a majority of them. The most the Germans ever get is 4. And it looks like they only get that on the last 4 turns of the game. Now, I blew through 3 turns of this thing. I played 2 last night and 1 just a few minutes ago. All right, so it plays fast because when you activate something, you're not going to move a whole lot of stuff, all right? Kind of like the victory lost, victory denied, those games where a headquarters unit can activate units within his command range, plus I think it's up to 3 other units that are independent or from another formation. On the Soviet side, you draw your activation chits, other than the special ones, are armies. So Second Shock Army is pretty much the only thing that's on the board as far as army through the first 3 turns. And so you're going to have shock. You're going to have the second SH chips, activation chips or command chips in the cup. And the Germans have mostly just the third SS, all these black units here, and then the Wehrmacht one shows up, and then a couple of them show up on this. Matter of fact, on this just at the end of turn 3 as like kind of like a reinforcement. Now the deal is, and this is tricky. So he is not going to be able to activate anybody way down there. Okay, no problem, because more shock army or more army headquarters have now come on the map. So there's one that moved in. They came in with the reinforcements. There's one here, and there's one here that came in. Now here's the trick. They cannot be within the command range of another army headquarters. So this guy, I couldn't get his full movement because he would have come within the command range of that unit right there of 10 hexes. All right, he had to make sure he stayed away from him 12 hexes. So I had to think about this one. And I guess what's going to happen is he'll deal with all this up here. This guy will deal with the center, and this guy will deal with the south once they get to where they're going. Okay, or yeah, because he'll have to get up in here. He may have to move a little bit, and and then he'll slide up into there. But he, like I say, he cannot close within the 10 hex command range that this guy has. So that's tough. Okay, and then like I say, so let's say you activate this core here. Well, all of his units that are within his command range can move and do normal process, can move and do combat, and then he can grab 3 other units that are independent from another formation. The Soviets also have this special activation called free move, where you can either activate a headquarters, and he can move his units, and plus 3 others. If they're in an enemy zone of control, they cannot move. They can't do any combat. Or he can choose to move 3 units that are not within command range of a headquarters and move them, and none of those units can do, of course, if you start an enemy zone of control, you can't move and they can't do combat. So that's just literally what it says. It's just a free move. Excuse me. You can get in their zone of control, though, during that move. All right. So, and here's an interesting little concept that I don't think I've ever seen in another game before. Reinforcements. All right. So you go through your command chit draws out of your cup. And then when you're done, when you've hit your max, if there's any of the special activations, the special event markers in there, and the Soviets have already done their maximum activations, and the Germans have already done theirs, and that's it. Nothing else gets drawn. And everything go back in the cup for the next turn. But then you have a reinforcement phase. The reinforcements don't come on during the activation segment. They come on the reinforcement phase. You put them in their starting location, and then you get to move them. All right? So unless I'm doing this wrong, this is what's happened over here. All these guys came in A. Could I have adjusted them? Yeah, you have a chart right here where they can move. It's over here in the corner of the map. They have a chart where you can change their entry location. It's like one turn to move down to the next one. I didn't necessarily see that I needed to do that, Now that I'm looking at the map, I'm thinking I better, because there's a mass of Soviets headed towards those crossings down there. The river from this hex down to Lake Pyapas, which is down here somewhere, all the way down, the Germans were using explosives to keep that river from being frozen. This river is frozen for the first 7 game turns, and there's a special event that could possibly extend it to through an 8th game turn. So infantry units are able to cross the frozen river. All right. Infantry units can cross at ferries. Mechanized units cannot cross at ferries. They cross at bridges. Now, I was looking at the map. I'm like, I don't even see any bridges. Well, wherever a road or railroad or whatever crosses the river, I guess that's a bridge, because there's nothing on the terrain effects chart that says what a bridge is. Okay. Other than that, the game, like I say, the game's rolling quickly, because you're not moving a whole ton of stuff. Matter of fact, the biggest moves I make are with the reinforcers, that I'm going to have to do something with this mess down here. Wehrmacht cannot activate SS. Now, granted, I haven't had any Wehrmacht command chits in the cup. I had one in there, but it didn't get drawn. So, with the Germans only getting 2 activations, and I guess they got another turn of that, and then they start getting 3. It's kind of hard. I drew 3 SS twice. Another thing that can happen is a command, so if you draw the 3rd SS chit, and you activate the 11th SS, and they move, and then you draw the 3rd SS chit again, you cannot back-to-back activate a division for the Germans or a corps for the Soviets. So it's easy for the Soviets because they got so much to activate. So if I drew the 3rd SS and the 11th activated the first time, and then I drew 3rd SS again, either Kust or the 4th SS would have to be the one to activate, or one of the newer ones that are coming on. Okay? And it's a little easier for the Germans because, well, I don't know if it's easy or not, because they don't have to go to an army headquarters. You draw 3rd SS, and any one of the divisions within that can activate. They don't have to be within range of another. However, the same effect applies. Their units and 3 others outside of their formation have to be within command range to do anything to move and do combat. Air power in this game, definitely strongest on the Soviet side, because they have, I think, 5 total aircraft that they can and get. Well, they will have. They have 1 still waiting. The Germans only have 1, and the Soviets have a bomber that does 3 column shifts, and then all their other units on their full side do 2. And if you just do a normal on their backside is a 1, and the Germans have the one that does 2. And I got that guy in the wrong box. He belongs up here. Okay, so yeah, Stefan Ekstrom is the designer of this game. Thanks to everybody out there that alerted me to the 3 Crown games, where he's got other ones like one that I really want, Stargard Solstice, I think is one of them. Plus he's got a bunch of other ones on there. I noticed 2, one in the desert, and he's got a couple. I think he's got a West Front one. He's got some East Front ones, and I don't know. He's not been buying much lately as far as games go, but I may have to look at those, because these are so simple to play, and they're fun. All right, Königsberg was fun. This one here, I'm taking a shot at it. Like I said, I set it up before, but I never have to play it. But all right, so. Not quite sure. I'm already across the river in 2 places here. The little, we'll call it the ice road here, is going to go away. I guess it goes away when the fall starts. That trail's not going to be in there anymore. But the Russians already have armor across here, so I'm going to have to divert a lot of the first chance I get. I need to divert some of the stuff down here, because these guys have already taken some villages down here, plus that crossing right there. And then when this force gets into place, if it can activate, and like I say, the activation's your key. That's your headache. But once they get here, if they can crush these crossings and get across, that'll just wreak so much havoc on the Germans. It's not funny. And I believe one of you guys in the comments noted, don't let the Russians cross that river down there in force, because it would really mess everything up. But yeah, we're going to keep chugging on. This probably won't take long to play. After a couple of days, I should have this played maybe by this weekend or something. Before the weekend's over, we'll get her done and finished up. And the month is getting closer to being over. Got some surprises coming up for y'all, so pay attention to the channel, Wardrobe's channel, with McMurray stuff on it. and Spotting Rounds channel for ASL stuff. Keep up on him because some stuff's going to pop up on there. Looking forward to it. And don't forget our show on the 5th, our pre-invasion show. We're going to talk D-Day stuff, all right, before it starts. All right, let's get this posted so we can see how Narva's going. Talk to y'all soon.